What up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting edition of Unpopular Review, our AEW Dynamite recap show. Uh, Almost as always, I know you guys haven't seen me for like 2 weeks. It is I, Divine Intervention, your hostess with the mostest, joined as always by All Elite Joker. Joker, say hi to the fine people. Crying.
Hello.
He doesn't have to really say hi to you guys. He's the one that's been holding it down. I have been sick with bronchitis the past 2 weeks. It sucks, and I lost my voice. But guess what? I'm back now. I might squeak every once in a while, so for people with sensitive ears, please forgive me. But we're gonna make it through. Good to be back. Good to be back in the chair. Back for a very good show, I think, the Go Home show before Forbidden Door this coming Sunday. Crossover event, very first one between AEW and New Japan. Obviously, for anybody that's been keeping up, tickets sold out for this thing crazy fast. Joker and I tried to be on the ball, but unfortunately we were unsuccessful, so we'll be watching it from our living room. Just the same as most of you fine folks at home.
In the comfort of our own home.
So. Yeah, it's not a terrible thing. Could be far worse. I'm sure the energy there is going to be electric, and I'm sure we will also cover some of the highlights on next week's show, which is ironically Blood and Guts. Yeah, I don't know how we're supposed to go.
My head might explode.
Well, because we also just had Road Rager. I know you had an opportunity to speak on, the events of Road Rager. But that was like, what? Was that last week?
Yep.
So Road Rager, Forbidden Door, Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
Only
thing I was going to say is usually during the summertime we would have Fight for the Fallen and Fighter Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of that, and we've already had the Road Rager before, but I feel like a lot of that is kind of like, I'm not sure if we're doing Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen this year. So
I feel like I've heard them talk about it. I don't know. Nothing has been discussed, and obviously there's plenty of shows that have been on the horizon. So, if it is coming in the future, we'll have to leave it for then. But I agree. I wonder if it's just wonky timing, because there just seems like there's just been a lot of things that have had to build simultaneously. And personally, I think that some of the build for Forbidden Door has kind of suffered because of it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of it's felt really rushed.
I hate to come back and be the damn downer, but...
No, I mean, hey, look, we're equal opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, I mean, like you said, a lot of things have had to be almost overlapped. And then it's hard when you're building a card for two promotions within two promotions.
Right.
So, certain aspects are coming from the New Japan side, certain aspects are coming from the AEW side.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to drive it home on AEW, but there's only so much you can cover in the amount of time that's allotted and still have all of the other things that we need to keep up with, like what's going on with Jade, what's going on with, all the other people that are in the company, along with what's happening as far as with Forbidden Door. I think they did their best as best they could, given, the time frame, how close it's following Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I mean, honestly, if you really look at it from like just going into Double or Nothing, it's been nothing but just boom, 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 all the way through Forbidden Door. And I guess Blood and Guts might be when we finally hit a slower point. But if they're doing Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen, I mean, we're just going to keep on trucking until we get to All Out at this point.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a very bumpy road to All Out, given all the different stops we have to make. But I guess we will just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Devil's advocate question here, I know we need to get into the actual show. Do you feel like every match needed a big build? Because I feel like they tried to interject story into a lot of these matches, which on one hand makes you care because the average watcher might not keep up with New Japan. Like, we try our best to. We did try to sit and watch Dominion. However, it's the average person is not doing the same. So do you think that it could have just been as easy as guy A versus guy B, let's have a fight? Or do you think all the storyline was necessary to get people invested?
I feel like certain matches need storyline, but others don't. Getting an explanation is always fine, but you don't need it. Like, for me, honestly, like, you could have done the Hangman stuff. That could have just been hey, here's this match that's going to happen for obvious reasons. Like,
right.
You got the two Adams, Okada, and Jay White. That doesn't need a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You got four of the best wrestlers in the world right there. Doesn't need a reason. I appreciate the soft amount of story that's going into the Orange Cassidy and Will Osprey match.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we'll get to that later.
Oh, yes.
Like I said, certain matches I feel like needed a little bit of, explanation to them. Mm-hmm. But when you got stuff like the All Atlantic title match that's happening, that didn't really need anything. And I mean, for the most part, it didn't. We got,
right.
Touch on that as well. But I feel like there were certain matches that we could have just gotten to. Just gotten to by saying, hey, this person's fighting this person. Why? If there is any kind of explanation, you can just have Excalibur read that kind of thing, or you could do a little fun video package at the beginning,
right.
Like we love to do for Road 2s. It didn't all need to be interjected, and that's why one of the reasons I feel like it's felt so rushed and overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if somebody's coming in, new, it's hard to try and keep up with who all the people are, because at this point it's kind of like a revolving door. You got people, if you're not familiar with both of these rosters beforehand, it makes it a whole lot harder. Like I said, is somebody, coming in.
Right. Quick shout out here to Jenna Lee. Happy birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Jesus. Graduation. Happy graduation. Always nice to have a fan. Like, share, subscribe. All right. We really need to get into what happened on this week's episode. Plenty more commentary on Forbidden Door, I'm sure, next week as the events unfold. But speaking of Forbidden Door, unfortunately, Bryan Danielson hitting us with some very interesting news. Very rare for Dynamite to start off with a promo. Out there with Tony to address the people. And this was advertised, I believe, that he was going to be speaking and addressing what do they call it? The AEW Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh, bless the jazz. Essentially, he hyped up the crowd, saying that it was a great day to be an AEW fan, great day to be a wrestling fan. Truly, a lot going on. AAA was over the weekend, Slammiversary, which is Impact
gold.
Yes, it was amazing. If you didn't see it, definitely should catch a replay of it. Absolutely wonderful. Anthony, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
So a lot of great things going on right now for wrestling fandoms. And Bryan Danielson was saying that he was planning to and looking forward to being a part of Blood and Guts, which we mentioned earlier is going to be next week, and Forbidden Door, which is going to be on Sunday. He also went on to say that Jericho is the one who paid Zack Sabre Jr. to challenge Bryan Danielson to a match at Forbidden Door. And he's got some good news and he's got some bad news. And it was funny. I think a guy picked the perfect moment to belt out, "We don't want the bad news." And it's true. We didn't want the bad news. Nope. Unfortunately, Danielson is not cleared to compete given the events that happened at Anarchy at the Arena and due to Jericho and Hager's attack against Danielson. He did make sure to let people know that his overall health is, phenomenal. He said that he could, his mind is as sharp as ever. He could run 2 miles and not even break a sweat. Like don't worry about him. He is going to be just fine in the long run. But unfortunately, for the next week at least, he is not cleared to compete. But he said that given everything, that's not even the good news. Obviously referencing his health. And that the good news is that he has come up with the perfect replacement for him at Forbidden Door, at Blood and Guts, to step into his shoes and put on what he calls the most, how did he put it? Like the best technical wrestling match that we've ever seen.
Yep.
Something along those lines. But unfortunately, he came down the bad guy tunnel, and he is not revealing who is taking his place, not only to us, but to Zack Sabre Jr., to which the music hit like clockwork, and Zack Sabre Jr. made his AEW debut, appearing at the top of the ramp to basically show he is not intimidated. Danielson can send his best. He gives no cares. Anthony, with a very interesting question here. What are you guys' prediction? Who Bryan Danielson is going to have replace him against Zack Sabre Jr. for the Blood and Guts match? Anthony, very good question. Joker, I'm going to pass this one to you. You had a very, almost immediate thought of who it should be, and I 100% agree with it.
Well, as far as from a technical standpoint, if we look at somebody who has the level of prestige and notoriety that a lot of people are looking for and has that kind of technical level, personally, I feel like Claudio would be, yep, exactly. Claudio would be my first guess as far as somebody that Danielson thinks so highly of that he would bring in. And he said he can't wait to see what this person does in AEW, which means that they're not somebody who's currently here.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be somebody brand new. And like I said, from a technical standpoint, Claudio is one of the only people I can think of, like I said, with that level of notoriety and prestige that could take a Danielson's place.
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree.
Man, I hope it is, because I love Claudio as a person, and in the ring, man's outstanding and underutilized. So
100%.
Hoping.
Fingers crossed. Elvis, a man of culture here, obviously, at least sometimes. Cesaro is definitely the number one choice in this household. I think that he would be a 100% good fit. We kind of tossed around some other ideas you had mentioned, Jonathan Gresham, who is coming from Ring of Honor. And while from a technical standpoint, he is amazing in the ring, with the not even the promise, but the speculation that it was going to be Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. As talented as Gresham is, we both agree that somebody of that level of star power also needs to kind of step in. And Claudio is 100% yes from me. Also, since we won't be going through every single thing that's mentioned later, Excalibur did mention something very interesting later in the show as he was doing his rundown of the Forbidden Door card, and mentioned that whoever is stepping in is also about to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Sorry, my bad. Not a huge surprise given, the way he worded that, as far as somebody who's going to be joining the roster, but also immediately ushered into the Blackpool Combat Club, which, obviously is unheard of given what Wheeler Yuta had to go through to join.
Yeah. And Anthony made an interesting suggestion being Flip Gordon, because Flip Gordon was a Ring of Honor talent.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not saying it couldn't be a Ring of Honor talent. I'm not saying that it can't be. My concern is with all the hype that's been going into it, I just hope that because leaving it open-ended like this, we've seen it backfire on AEW before.
True.
And I think that it's going to generate people buying the ticket. And at the end of the day, if that's all you care about, then great. But I don't want this company to fall into what could be a dangerous trap of constantly leaving things open-ended and allowing the fan base to, run wild with their imagination. And, whoever it is that they have predicted, it's not, whoever ends up actually debuting doesn't meet their expectation. And to be fair, the promotion hasn't said much of anything outside it's going to be an absolutely spectacular technical match and you need to tune in to find out who it is. But at the same time, wrestling fans are going to wrestling fan. And I think that,
Fantasy booking.
Yeah, the more that you leave it open-ended, the more dangerous it could be. Anthony with some more details here about Flip Gordon. Have a younger talent instead of an older guy like Cesaro, who's already close to his 40s. I mean, you make an interesting point. I 100% think that if you're thinking about investing into the future, someone like a Flip Gordon would probably be ideal. Couple of other very interesting surprise entrance, if you will. Goldberg. What are your chances on Goldberg? How about Vince McMahon? Vince McMahon for the Forbidden Door.
00.
And Stardust to AEW. Wasn't that guy already here? Yeah,
he didn't do so well with the crowd, I don't think.
Yeah, unfortunately, Stardust was not as popular here as he might be. Victor, good to see you, my friend. Welcome always.
What's going on, Vic?
All right. So, if you want to find out who it is, guess what? Check back next week because I bet you we're going to be talking about it. Moving on, had another promo. Very interesting, starting with the promos tonight, shaking things up. Mm-hmm. Jon Moxley, of course, cutting a promo not only for his match at Blood and Guts, talking about the Jazz, we talked about them earlier, obviously attacking them one by one. They went after Eddie Kingston's face with a fireball. Last week, they came for Jon Moxley. Hold on. I'm sorry. Victor here with the hot takes. Johnny Gargano.
Yes.
What are your thoughts there?
Oh, I'd love to see that. I mean, because you still get the same vibe because, I mean, they're built pretty much the same. And he is a lot younger. Oof, Josh Alexander. God.
Josh Alexander. Look, we could sit in fantasy book all night.
I mean,
all night.
Legitimately could. And just real quick, I know this has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Sammy Callahan, also want to be fair to the, to everybody's suggestions out here.
Thanks. I just real quick, has nothing to do with anything, but I just shout out to Josh Alexander for that absolute love letter that he and Eric Young put on to Impact Wrestling and to all of those who came before them and, were there with them. In Mr. Young's case, who is no longer young. Absolutely outstanding match. Shout out Josh Alexander.
100%.
And I appreciate it. Anyway.
Yes, Jon Moxley's promo. Can they survive? Can the Jericho appreciation survive like Eddie has survived against the industry and Ortiz has survived against the New York streets? Moxley really hates Jericho. First match, of course, before their Blood and Guts match, he's got to face Tanahashi at Forbidden Door. And when the bell rings, there will be no respect. Joker, let's talk just briefly about this match coming up. At first, when it was reported that Mox was going to be involved, it was like, oh, it's pretty much set in stone. Mox is going to win. First time, two-time champion. Couldn't pick a better guy. But now people are speculating it could be Tanahashi walking away with the interim title. Your thoughts?
Look, I would applaud AEW if they have the stones to put it on Tanahashi, because that, while it's something that a lot of us can speculate and hope for, or even just fantasy book, it's one thing to do all of those things. It's another thing to actually go through with it. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how the logistics of this, agreement are going to go. It seems though that it's going to be a consistent thing, considering Konosuke Takeshita has merch on AEW's website now.
Yeah.
While still being billed as a New Japan talent. So, it seems like it's going to be a very much a working relationship. So I think we can still get that. And that way you have your Tanahashi and Punk match that they wanted in the first place as soon as Punk comes back.
Mm-hmm.
No build needed, no nothing. You can just go straight into that match, and wherever that goes, should Punk decide to turn heel, or anything like that, hopefully. Yeah. I would like to see them put it on Tanahashi. As much as I love Moxley, and I really do love Moxley, he's the patron saint of all Johns.
Mm-hmm.
Mox will make a great champion again, but Tanahashi is definitely the more adventurous and interesting choice in this situation. Yeah. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I asked you your opinion. All right. I agree with everything you said. No need to rehash. Next we had Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice versus Will Osprey and Aussie Open. Trios match. Orange Cassidy and Will Osprey confirmed as of last week's Dynamite for Forbidden Door on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. It's very interesting because this match to me was the snapshot that I really needed to kind of get a glimpse at what we can expect on Sunday between the 30-second bout between Orange Cassidy and Will Osprey, toward the middle to the end of the match. Because at the beginning, Orange Cassidy does some Orange Cassidy stuff. He does some lazy kicks, but then all of a sudden pulls out the double Hurricane Rana, and Osprey, of course, over the top. He's all of that is expected. What wasn't expected to me personally was just the amount of aggression. Orange Cassidy and Will Osprey in that 30 seconds that they went at each other. It was oh, okay, this is why I need to buy the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, we heard. I listened. I was listening to Fightful, and they threw up the proposition of Orange Cassidy versus Will Osprey, and I was I hadn't even thought of that as an option.
Mm-hmm.
And for one, Orange hadn't been confirmed to come back yet from his injury on his shoulder, but yeah, just like you said, that 30 seconds. I already knew what was coming as far as the way those two, because I've watched a good amount of those two guys' matches. But good Lord, seeing it in real time, Orange hasn't missed a step.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, he looks amazing. And with the snappiness of Will Osprey, thank you, Kenny. I can't wait for this match. It's match of the night for this one's going to be real hard.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all gunning for it.
As far as this whole pay-per-view, we're going to be exhausted, and I can't wait for it.
Indeed. This match wrapping up, Strong Zero attempt into a Canadian Destroyer counter. Will Osprey flips over the top rope and lands on his feet like a crazy person. My knees would shatter on impact. Orange Punch for the win. Obviously with Orange Cassidy having been injured, it only makes sense for him coming back to and participating in a match for him to win. And unfortunately to me, it's AEW, so nothing's ever confirmed. But of course, on the Go Home show, Orange Cassidy won, so it must mean that Will Osprey is going to win at the pay-per-view, which he could afford to lose. If they put on an absolute banger, he won his first match back. We always said that Orange Cassidy would be somebody who could easily eat a pin and still come out looking unfazed, freshly squeezed.
People love him, and for good reason. The man's an amazing pro wrestler. He has an outstanding gimmick that feeds into the audience. He's got, man's the whole package. And then he showed us when he was in his little feud with Jericho that he can knock out that mic too.
Right.
But that's not in his character, so we don't do that often. But just the fact that we got to see a glimpse of it was just true testament to his abilities.
But when he does,
man, he's gonna try, and when he tries, somebody gets messed up, and I can't wait because Will Osprey has been doing nothing but make me happy since he's shown up. And so glad it's so much easier to see him right now.
Indeed. United Empire stormed to the ring after the win. FTR kind of come out to make the save because there's obviously a numbers disadvantage for the good guys, the baby faces. All, of course, tying into another match, which is a 3-way tag team match between Roppongi Vice, Jeff Cobb, and I forget his tag team partner. Thank you. And FTR for winner take all on some titles. See the pay-per-view for details. We don't have time to go into the specifics, but it did go off into commercial with FTR and the babyfaces standing tall, looking good. Have a question for this panel regarding wrestling in general? Absolutely. Go ahead and shoot. We will get to it as soon as absolutely possible. Next, we had a brief promo here. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh. I think we're going to be seeing these guys together for a good long while.
Yes.
Sanjay, of course, ecstatic. Satnam's debut was amazing, and they should go to India for some reason because it was so good. Jay essentially says he's not ready to celebrate until he gets the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Samoa Joe needs to either tape up and come back to work or vacate the championship belt to its rightful owner. And what is he, like the longest reigning Ring of Honor tag team champion or something?
Television champion.
Yeah. So what do you think? Is Samoa Joe going to come back and go all sweet tooth on that ass, or what do you think?
Yep, going to drive an ice cream truck straight into Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh's dressing room. Yeah, man, of course, Joe's going to come back and put a hurting on everybody. That's what Joe does. And what a glorious, glorious day it shall be for that.
Agreed.
Yes. Yeah, I don't really have much answer for that.
Yeah, there's not really much to cover. They kind of touch on this every week, and I report about it because Jay Lethal always has something funny to say. But yeah, I'm ready for Samoa Joe to come back and open up a can of whoop ass. So we will just have to wait and see when that happens. All right, everybody, stick with us here for just a moment. We will be right back after these messages.
So, how is he?
Hell, you know, same old Ethan.
How many times has Hunt's government betrayed him, disavowed him, cast him aside? How long before a man like that has had enough?
You can't fight the French giant! Ethan, that's not who we are.
Maybe we need to reconsider that.
Hello, welcome back. Good to see you.
Hello.
Like, share, subscribe. Do it. Okay, we coming back from commercial, we have the question of the hour here. Yes, this is quite the question here. We will do our best to answer it. Curious what would happen if fans at events never reacted to what the company in particular was trying to push. A WWE fan, I know they love any kind of reaction, booing or cheering, but I'm curious what would happen if fans one day just never reacted to anything they did. Would that be a way for these companies to stop pushing characters and matches you don't want to see?
With Vince, no. Vince is going to Vince at all times.
Well, here, you finish yours first, and I'll go.
No, I mean that was all I had for WWE. I have to think, like, for just wrestling in general. Like, I can't imagine, because wrestling fans are so rambunctious and love what they're watching. It's kind of hard to think about. I mean, outside of what we had to watch during the empty arena era.
That is literally what I was about to bring up. That is the perfect example of what do you do when there's nobody around to gauge whether what you're pushing is actually what people want to see. Because that was the question about like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and a lot of these younger talents. I'm speaking of AEW specifically. We don't really watch WWE, so I can't really speak on what they did during that era of no real fan interaction. But the thing is even if the fans aren't reacting in person, like I said earlier, wrestling fans are going to wrestling fan. They are going to make their voices heard regardless. So on social media, through forums, that kind of stuff was how people were still getting their opinions out there. And unfortunately, as a fan base, I don't think we are capable of just stopping any kind of reaction whatsoever.
It'd be such an interesting situation to be a part of, though. Like I said, just to sit inside of an audience full of people with no one reacting to a single thing whatsoever. Like, man.
Mm.
That was a beautiful question. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I agree. Victor also coming in with a very interesting take. It's called Seat Fillers and Taped Reactions. We have seen, obviously, companies taking that approach, even beyond the empty arena era, just trying to cultivate the reaction that they're looking for. And unfortunately, I think that it can be to your detriment. I mean, WWE has seen declining numbers, and I don't want to make this a battle between brands. It's not what this is about. But facts are facts. And pushing stuff that people aren't interested, eventually they will stop tuning in. But it's really up to the company that's running the promotion to determine whether that equals the health of your company and what you need to do in response to that. Obviously, Vince has taken the stance of, I don't want to do anything. It's my world. It's my show. So I don't know. Other people have acted differently, and it's been either to their detriment or their downfall. Well, what a segue. Thank you so much, Dark Sage. Very dark sage wisdom for us all today.
Right. Wrestling existentialism.
I know, right? Obviously want everything to go well. Huge time to be a wrestling fan right now. And if there's something that you don't like, there's so many other promotions out there right now that are thriving. I'm sure one of them has exactly what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. The controversy of the week. And I say the week because, I mean, the wrestling industry has just been a dumpster fire lately. Christian Cage being interviewed by Tony Schiavone in the ring to address the beatdown of Jungle Boy from last week at the end of Dynamite. Well, here's the thing. We weren't surprised. We knew this was coming. Christian Cage is a notorious SOB.
Yes.
But why did he do it? Why did he do it? And I'll be honest here. I did my best to try to keep up. I mean, every time this man opened his mouth, it was a zinger or a one-liner. And I cannot go verbatim on what this man said. If you are curious, go back and watch it. I mean, Christian really let loose. This Christian that people have been wanting to see for months now, he's here. And he's ready. Essentially, he beat down Jungle Boy because he cost him a lot of money. He also cost him his opportunity in the Casino Battle Royal?
Yes.
And Tony was like, well, isn't that kind of petty? And Christian was like, yeah, I'm kind of petty. And he's not wrong. Essentially, he only cares about making money, and us. He didn't say pores because he's not MJF, but essentially us plebs would never understand. And obviously he has the wrestling game figured out. He doesn't need anybody's comments on, social media, online, all that stuff that we kind of talked about earlier. He had planned on riding Jungle Boy's coattails for the foreseeable future, but unfortunately now he has to get his hands dirty and he is pissed. He never wanted to be Jungle Boy's dad because Jungle Boy's dad is dead. That got a huge crowd reaction. I mean, people audibly gasped.
Even JR just went, damn.
Christian pipe bomb. God, you damn right it was.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. Like, he started off kind of slow as Christian usually does, but good Lord, by the time he was finished, bringing up the fact, You know what? Go ahead, finish up with your synopsis.
Essentially, the end of this, Luchasaurus comes out. He's hurt enough. It looks like he's going to stand up for his homie, Jungle Boy, who is incapacitated at the moment. But essentially, he shoves Christian into the corner. He's choking him. And he says, "Remember what happened to Marco?" I was like, oh my God. Christian, what the hell? But he says that he sees Luchasaurus like a son, and Luchasaurus reluctantly leaves with Christian Cage to go and have a private conversation away from, again, us plebeians. But he definitely makes sure to look back at the camera and give us a nice little smirk to know that he is up to no good. Joker, I'm going to let you take it away on good old Christian Cage.
Yo, my man started naming off stuff that you need to do to even step to him and be on his level. He said, go out and make a match that people name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, damn. Like, here.
Oh. Just about what you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so, Christian Cage, man, always knows how to get the crowd against him or for him, because, like he said in his promo, he is a master of his craft. And I'm excited to see this new Jungle Boy that has to emerge because, you know, Daddy Christian has betrayed him and probably coerced his best friend into being his lackey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, I'm interested to see where all of this goes because I didn't see the Luchasaurus thing going with Christian. Like, I didn't see that coming. So
no, not at all. Yeah,
that was a complete shock to me. So I'm quite interested in what's going to happen next. I'm very excited to see what happens. Christian left a lot of things very open as far as what's next for him. Aside from, you know, if need be, showing Jungle Boy what for again.
Yeah. I feel like we won't see Jungle Boy for another week or so at least, obviously getting through Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts next week. I hope that they don't rush this and just slap it on the next available, like, you know, big card show like Blood and Guts. I know that card still needs to be filled, but I feel like there are plenty of other storylines that could be wrapped up. Like, there's still a lot here to be explored. And of course, you wouldn't want Jungle Boy to no sell, you know, the concerto. Kind of want to give him some time to play that off. But yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot to be done here, and I can't wait to see it. I hope Christian Cage gets what he deserves, especially talking about this man's dead. Jesus Christ.
Yo, that was messed up, bro.
Quick, interesting question over here. As far, I know we keep bringing up WWE, but Triple H gave his goodbye at WrestleMania. I know a lot of people, as far as wrestlers are concerned, you can never believe a retirement. Bryan Danielson wasn't supposed to wrestle again, you know, so anything is possible. But at the same time, I hope that he doesn't rush his recovery. While him coming back would be absolutely amazing, and a lot of people would love to see it. We would love to see it if that's where his health is. But it seems like what he went through was pretty serious. So hope he is taking his health into consideration. Last quick thing here before we step away again shortly. Young Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly do a brief promo. Will the Young Bucks be at Forbidden Door? I mean, obviously, yes. They said that they are basically the lock and key that is the Forbidden Door. So they will definitely be there. What will they be doing? We don't know. Well, I think they did end up saying it was going to be Kyle is pissed because Bobby Fish and him are now injured because of Sting's attack last week, from what I understand. Because it was kind of a Darby Sting promo a little bit later on in the show, where they kind of covered some more of that. But essentially, I don't think I took any notes on that. So we'll cover it here really quickly. Essentially, the two promos were connected, talking about what the Young Bucks will be doing at Forbidden Door. The Bucks will be with the Bullet Club for one night only. They are being joined by Joker,
Hikuleo, and I forgot.
Yeah, Hikuleo was the one I remembered, but Joker's going to look it up here in just a second. But essentially, it will be 4 versus 4, the Young Bucks with 2 more members of the Bullet Club versus Sting and Darby. I think they're calling them the dudes with attitudes.
Yeah.
It's very cute. And in the most menacing way possible. Sting is absolutely adorable in the most menacing way possible. Bucks for one night only, part of Bullet Club. Yes, absolutely. A lot of
El Fantasma.
Okay, so El Fantasmo and Hikuleo versus Darby and Sting with
Shingo. Let me see. It was Shingo and I'm not gonna go back to the thing.
I thought you still had it pulled up.
I'm sorry.
Dang, I'm crying.
Shingo and Hiromu.
Okay. It's late, folks. And we just watched a whole 11-11. Make a wish, people. All right. So that'll be 4 versus 4 at Forbidden Door. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Darby's going to do something absolutely crazy.
So is Shingo.
And it's so funny because I think a lot of people wanted those two to face each other, but this might be the safer alternative.
Yeah, they might not walk out of there if they fought each other.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's all there is really to say on that. Told Brandon to cut the camera, and they're happy to be tag champs again. Oh yeah, that's the thing. That was what ultimately brought the Christian Cage Jungle Boy feud or partnership to an end. So just that little thing about the tag team belts, no big deal.
Well,
hey man, it'd be what it be. All right, everybody, stick with us again for just a moment. We'll be right back after these messages.
But if I were to go with the proper way to book things, Edge will go after the world title eventually. Damian Priest can go back after the mid-card title. Rhea Ripley can go after the WWE Women's Championship, Raw Championship. You need a tag team. I would actually call up an NXT 2.0 tag team to join them.
Wow. All right.
I will call up the Creed brothers. I think the Creed brothers would be a good fit for this. What the fuck are you making up?
Creed brothers. I thought you was gonna drop some fucking news tonight, man. And this is your biggest fucking ad was thinking. You know what? It's the Creed brothers, bro. Nobody's watching the fucking Creed brothers. What the? This was the lamest fucking egg you just dropped. I said, give me some fucking news, and you're like, maybe the Creed brothers. Like,
Welcome back, everybody. Bro, check out Monday Nights. Those two are wild together. Absolutely wild. In case you hadn't noticed, we had Jesus, my horn. Please don't perceive my horn. Brief costume contest or costume change. Slate people, my apologies. Because we're talking about the All Atlantic Championship qualifiers. I know a lot of people don't like this belt, and that's fine. You know,
I think it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful belt. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's redundant, especially since they thought it was like, oh, only international stars can challenge for it, but it seems like anybody can challenge for it. It's just like they're making a big deal out of it being somebody international for the inaugural champion of. I don't know. There's a lot of really confusing stuff with it. But guess what? We happen to really, really like the two wrestlers that are set to finish out the. It's not a fatal 4-way. That's a WWE thing. But the 4-way match for the All Atlantic Championship at Forbidden Door. Malakai Black and the House of Black in all of my spookiness, and Penta Oscuro, crying. Joker, we were actually able to head out of town a couple weeks ago for the River City WrestleCon. Got to see Penta and Ray, which was very cool, and several other amazing wrestlers. We've got some pictures up on our social media. Like, share, subscribe. As I said, this is an All Atlantic Belt qualifier. Penta and Malakai rounding out the other 4 combatants who are Pac. Miro, of course, because, I mean, it's Miro. And Ishii, who is coming from New Japan to round out this whole situation. And at the end of the day, this match is going to be absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Got 2 heavy hitters versus 2 strikers.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it's the amount of, like, the slaps, the chops, the kicks, the punches, everything it's going to be so loud. And I'm so excited because you got the 2 big, strong, beefy boys and Miro and Ishii.
Mm-hmm.
I say big, figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, like you said, the 2 strikers and the 2 quick guys in Pac and Malakai. And it's going to be just, I can't wait to see this amazing web that they weave together.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an amazing match.
Oh, yeah.
We got there with Penta doing a tope over the rope. Penta participated in the Triple Mania event over this past weekend. And so he is favoring some. At first, I thought it was like, oh, it's a work. He's just, he participated in another match. He's obviously not feeling like he looked legitimately like he was in pain by the end of this match, unfortunately. So he was harboring some wounds from his AAA match. Malakai takes a backstabber, and after this, Penta kind of starts falling apart. He's clutching his back. He's really not able to mount his usual offense because a lot of his move set requires him picking up his opponent. Malakai knee into a moonsault to the outside for a near fall. Penta was able to pull off an avalanche fear factor, but I think that really took him out. Took him a while to do the cover. At the end of the day, Malakai with his back heel kick for the win. Pac comes down from the back. So you've got the 3 of them kind of facing off against each other in the ring. I'm sorry. It was Pac and Malakai with Penta kind of, those are the 3. But then Miro cuts a crazy promo.
As he always does, because he's amazing.
Miro will spit on your god and win the title. That may be so. As much as I love Malakai Black, did also get an opportunity to meet him, which was amazing. However, I feel like Miro's going to walk away with the win, and he should. He needs a belt. He's very intimidating. He was an amazing champion. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say, but I'm going to be cheering for my homie with these on Sunday. So yeah.
Be there. Although I love Malakai, so
well,
we can cheer for him together.
I know, since your homie unfortunately didn't make it, but honestly, given how much his back is hurting, he probably looks like he needs to sit down for a minute.
And I do feel like a lot of it when they came down on that tope in the beginning of the match, the way that they fell, Penta definitely drilled his lower back into because Malakai landed kind of like this and his knees, and so like the way they fell, Penta's lower back landed straight on one of Malakai's knees, and his foot was planted on the ground, so it wasn't like there was any
there's
kind
no
of
give.
Yeah, so I really think that coupled with his match with Blue Demon Jr. Really, I think it just like exacerbated an issue that he already had coming out of that match, because he was kind of in pain when he came out of that match. Like you saw him kind of clutching at his lower back and his neck at the end of that match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that coupled with that knee at the very beginning and from a diving, out of the ring situation, I think it did take it out of him a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately. Mira's promo essentially that all he wanted was his God, his gold, and his glorious wife. At the end of the day, is his God testing him? Good, he's glad. He will drag the bastard and the pagan and redeem them. Miro just out here spitting straight fire. Like, I don't know how much more we need to say on this. I'm sure he is going to end up being your All Atlantic champion, and that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's all there is to say about that.
Indeed. Bummer no Wardlow tonight. Haha, Victor, you are incorrect. He had a promo. I wish we had seen him in person. And I'm going to kind of talk about that at the end of this segment. But essentially, his promo is that he's no longer taking orders from anybody. He's here to take what he wants, and he wants the TNT title. Scorpio, when he is medically cleared, he wants to welcome him to Wardlow's world. Here is my take on it. I feel so bad for poor Wardlow. The timing on all of these injuries is just not ideal. Obviously, he was set to be, the next American challenge for CM Punk, because obviously it was supposed to be Tanahashi and Punk at Forbidden Door, and then turning right around, I'm sure, to face Wardlow at the next available destination. Obviously, with Punk being injured, that's not happening. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to set my sights on the TNT title because I think that that's a great alternative. They've done their best not to make this the mid-card title. It's just another belt that you can go after. So it would have been just as promising. They want to strap up their hottest new prospect. And, it's just, it's unfortunate that the holders of both titles aren't available. And I think that if he had lost to Punk, it would have been understandable. I don't think he's ready for the world title just yet.
No.
But at the same time, I wouldn't want to see him lose to anyone else. Scorpio, I think he could reasonably take, and he should be the TNT champion if that's an actual matchup, just from a believable standpoint. And with the All Atlantic, I think a match between him and Miro would be absolutely amazing. But I wouldn't want to see him lose.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just not a good time for Wardlow. Like you said, timing wise, and then the whole MJF thing, I feel like also stole some of his thunder. Like, it's just been so much fighting against poor Wardlow. And I mean, I know they've been trying to do their best. He took out 20 guys last week. That's impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as him getting strapped up, having some issues here. But I do want him to get the peanut butter and jelly championship off of Mr. Sky. I'm just saying, Vic has high hopes. Hopefully we'll get Scorpio Sky versus Wardlow at Blood and Guts. I'd be very happy about that, Victor.
The thing about it is because it's so close.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, probably not. But wishful thinking all the same.
Yeah, I think that we will see it as soon as Scorpio is medically cleared. I think there's going to be a lot on the horizon once a lot of people are medically cleared. Certain matches, especially if New Japan is going to be sticking around for a while. There's no telling when we might be able to get, like the Punk versus Tanahashi match or Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. I think that it will just happen at a later date. Can he have your autograph?
Of course you can, Elvis. That'll be $40, please.
I'm crying.
$80 for a photo.
Oh my God. So there's a brief story behind that. We were no? Okay. Inside joke between myself and Joker. It's married stuff. You wouldn't understand. Moving on. Hangman Adam Page versus Silas Young, who is a 2-time champion from Ring of Honor. A lot of people were very excited to see him on an AEW screen. got some actual Silas chance. I mean, Wheeler Yuta didn't get a chance for like a whole year.
Well, he's from Milwaukee, so.
Well, that's true. That is very true. He is the hometown guy. I forgot about that. See, Jokers, that's why he's really in charge. I promise you. Adam Cole, baby, on commentary through Ring of Honor. A lot of history between Adam Cole, Silas Young, Hangman Page. They kind of mention it on commentary that Hangman Page and Silas have had a lot of run-ins in Ring of Honor, and they're bringing that to the AEW screen.
Silas, 2-time champion.
Yeah. Page, Cole saying that Page should basically be embarrassed after what happened last week with Jay White, and that Cole and White are friends, and White's going to come around. Jay White, of course, because, you know, he just made a mistake. He's under a lot of pressure right now, and he's going to come around and do the right thing. This match was wild. Silas Young was very impressive. He did a lot more offense than I originally thought that he would against a former champion. Hangman kind of putting him over in defeat, making him look very, very good. But in the end, it was a buckshot lariat for the win. And Adam Cole, baby, interrupts Adam Page's victory, and then Jay White immediately comes out and interrupts Adam Cole. We do a lot of interruption segments here in AEW. Don't mind.
Interruptionception.
Don't mind us. But essentially, he being Jay White, as much as he knows that Adam Cole and him are friends, essentially he can't let him go for the title because he lost to Hangman Page twice. I'm glad that they are keeping with the continuity and keeping up with, you know, the storyline here. And, you know, it would not make sense, like, even from a friendship standpoint. Although, if he lost, then that's an easy match. But I know some people would have something to say, like, anyway.
Can't be the catalyst of pro wrestling if you're taking the easy way out, man.
That's true. That is true. Page, Jay White gets in the ring to get in Adam Page's face. Hangman Page slaps the mic out of Jay White's hand. And essentially he looks like he's about to go for the buckshot on Jay White. Adam Cole with the low blow. And while Jay White is beating the crap out of Hangman in the ring, Cole is behind him with the title, looking like he's about to just let him have it. But in the end, Okada arrives. The four of them kind of stand off against each other. I don't want to say awkwardly, but like, it was very clear that there were like semi-alliances between Jay White and Adam Cole, semi-alliance between Okada and Hangman, as far as like Okada coming out to, you know, save Hangman essentially. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the four of them against each other for the IWGP championship.
You need to stop taking so many pee breaks, my man. Because it's definitely going to be, man, when that coin drop hit, I was like, yes, Okada is here. I was so excited because I was like, I need Okada on this card, but I don't know how we're going to get Okada on this card. So I'm happy that Okada is going to be on this card. I know I said earlier, you know, we could have just had the graphic and that would have been completely fine. Again, you do not need a reason to put Jay White, Kazuchika Okada, and the two Adams in a ring together. You don't need a reason. It's right there. You put the graphic up. There's your reason. It's right there. That's the reason. So
I think that's true.
Yeah, but I'm glad that we are getting this match because, like I said, I was really hoping that we were getting Okada, and I'm glad it's not a tag team situation because I didn't want to see that either. Like, I legitimately want to see all of these guys wrestle each other. I wanted to see Okada versus Page, like just the two of them. But if this is how we have to get it, I'll take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, with these types of shows, I think they try to get as many people on as possible. So while a one-on-one match would be ideal, and I won't count it out in the future, especially if they're going to continue this like cross-brand situation, I'm sure it will be on somebody's television, whether it be here or New Japan. But I feel like AEW would want to keep, like, you know, some of the tastier bits to themselves, like a Hangman Okada match. Yeah, Victor, I'm gonna need you to. I mean, I know you tune in with us, so that's why we keep you up to date on what's going on. But yeah, unfortunately, Switchblade is already accounted for, and while we may see Omega show up, I don't think he is going to be medically cleared in time for Sunday, unless they pull an absolute wild card and pull a rabbit out of a hat on Friday, which I don't know why you wouldn't make that kind of announcement on your flagship show versus Rampage. Like, Rampage is amazing. It just has some amazing wrestling, but just the time at which it comes on, not everybody is keeping up with that as much as they should be. It's a good show. You're missing out, people. But I don't think that that's where they're going to drop a bombshell like, oh shit, Omega's actually going to be on the show, JK guys. So it might be a good minute before we see him in action, and he should take all the time he needs. He was very, very broken.
Lord knows.
All right. Moving on to the promo segment of the evening. My time has come, people. There's a baddie search on the horizon. Okay. I don't know what my chances are. Pray for me in the comments. But unfortunately, Red Velvet is injured after her match recently with... Who did she fight? Was that Anna Jay?
I thought she... Was it not Statlander?
Was it Statlander?
I'm sorry, Kristen Highlander?
Gothlander. Regardless, Red Velvet unfortunately is injured. And Stokely asked Tony to do a drum roll, and it was the funniest thing I saw all night.
Yo, Stokely has had at least one, like every time he has spoken since he's gotten here, there has been some kind of one-liner that you can pull from his promo and remember it. Like,
yep.
The man is gold. Okay.
Yeah,
like,
I think that his addition is absolutely 100% necessary for the Jade brand.
You got Kristen Highlander, you got Wilma, now you got drum roll, man. And then just seeing Tony just best thing ever.
Absolutely. Okay. Hilarious.
Stokely Hathaway, great idea.
Tony's always down too. That's the good thing about Tony Schiavone. He's just here. He's here for it.
Victor, for the clarification.
It was Statlander. Unfortunately, that match where Red Velvet was injured. But we have a baddie search, people. They gave the hashtag. You need to, in 140 characters, explain why you should be the next baddie. But keep your photos PG, ladies. And yeah, Tony, cut the shit. And that was it. Period. Kiera Hogan, of course, looking amazing with Jade. I think that this faction is going to be around for a while. And in response, we had a Statlander and Athena promo essentially immediately after that, where the two of them were... Yeah, they were tearing into the baddies, because they were like, oh, did you hear that, oh, you can be a baddie too. I can be sexy too. I'm losing my voice. I'm so sorry, guys. Athena said that Jay's lace front must be front. Oh, no. For those who don't know, Athena has been catching flack in her comment section, her DMs on social media for... some bullshit, if we're being honest. And at the end of the day, I think that she should just continue to be herself. She's absolutely amazing. She's killing it right now. And I think her, Statlander, and Willow Nightingale is the winning team. Like, as much as Anna Jay was in the mix, like, Willow feels like the more solid addition to this faction.
And she feels like she fits better because, like, for me, Anna Jay, like, I can see Statlander hanging out with Athena. Mm-hmm. But something about Anna Jay just didn't feel right. You know, especially with such close association with, Ty. And I'm sure that had to do with something as well. But yeah, Willow, and I'm just happy to see Willow on our, on our television screens.
Plus, with
That's
Jungle
super.
Boy also getting not injured, the concerto,
Kayfabe.
kayfabe injured, it would make sense that his real life girlfriend would also kind of go missing off of TV. So I think Willow stepping in was very timely. I'm sure that they're off on a beach somewhere, being young. Jade cut the shit. Yes.
Thank you, Athena.
I know Athena is amazing. Like I said, I hope she continues to just be herself and do her, and keep it 100, because
Keep
that's
it
just,
100.
that's
Getting
just what
that
we do.
tattooed on myself.
She said you can send 1, 2, or 20 baddies. They're gonna thwart all those hussies. She's a classy lady. I really like her.
True queen.
And she's a true queen. Of course, women's promo segments lead into always the women's match for the evening. I really wish we could break that mold, but for the time being, I'm just happy to see the ladies on TV. Marina Shafir, I found out through What Culture Wrestling, listening to their preview podcast for this Tonight Show. Apparently, there's some backstage drama between Thunder Rosa and Marina Shafir based on their match a couple weeks ago. Essentially, Thunder Rosa kind of no-selling for Marina Shafir, and her kind of being pissed off about it. So I don't know if this match against Tony, was like a make good for that, as far as like trying to get her back on to regular television and, someone that maybe she has more chemistry with, so she comes across better. I don't know for sure. Purely speculation on our part. But I find it interesting that she lost to the champion and is now the opponent for the opponent to the champion going into Forbidden Door on Sunday. So
with her new bud, Nyla Rose.
Yes, Nyla Rose came out with Marina Shafir. Not sure where Vicky Guerrero is, but we haven't seen Nyla on our Dynamite TV screens for quite some time. Nyla immediately almost getting involved in the match with a senton to Tony on the outside. Tony retaliates in the ring with a massive headbutt to Marina Shafir. Marina Shafir then attempts to kind of do a stair kick. Like she's got Tony laid prone against the stairs. She's trying to give her a kick. It's not happening. Tony with a nasty hip attack in the corner. Like the way that her head ricocheted, like it looked pretty serious. In the end, she ends up doing like this very interesting like bridge pin situation. Toni Storm, of course, coming away with the win. Momentum going into the pay-per-view on Sunday. Nyla Rose and Marina attack after the bell, and Thunder Rosa comes to save the day. Joker, are we walking away from Forbidden Door with a newly crowned women's champion?
I'm not sure, because Taya Valkyrie just called out Thunder Rosa, so like we could, but then we also couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to tell. Had you asked me last week before Triple A this weekend, I probably would have said yes. We were going to get a new champion. It's going to be Toni Storm. But now I'm not entirely sure. I'm still leaning a little bit more towards Tony winning. But like I said, Taya Valkyrie calling out Thunder Rosa changes things a little bit. For me personally.
Mm-hmm.
What about
Victor, with an interesting take here. Tony versus Thunder. Her wants to see face versus face. Not good.
I don't mind face versus face matches, honestly, as long as the action's good.
Yeah, and I think that both of them perform very well. I agree. It's kind of hard to build a match around, I don't want to say mutual respect, but it makes storytelling a lot easier when you have a dedicated good guy and a dedicated bad guy. However, I'm with Joker. I don't think face versus face is bad. I think that they kept the build for this kind of small, which I think they should. There's not a huge story to tell here. But I'm leaning 75-25 that Tony walks away with the title. Just because as much as I love Thunder and she has been an amazing women's champion. I don't know if they know how to book a champion like her. Toni jumps off the page. She comes out, people are excited, they cheer. And not to say that they don't for Thunder Rosa, but I don't know. Something about her just, unfortunately, is a little bit more marketable in the way that Britt Baker kind of was. And I think that she will insert herself into more spaces the way that Jade Cargill kind of has. Because we see Jade every week, whether it be on Dynamite, Rampage. I mean, she's done stuff on Dark Elevation. Like, she is everywhere. And I think that it takes a strong personality in that way to kind of bridge that gap. So, I don't know. I think Toni could do it. Toni could be the one. If not Toni, then who? You know, I mean, you put it on Chris Statlander. But then that's another face versus face match. Like, you know, there really are not enough heels. So do we see Toni kind of do we see a turn at Forbidden Door? Because that could be interesting. There's a lot of babyface talent that's available right now. If Toni became a heel champion. Because to me, when she comes out, she kind of comes out pissed off. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just her. Maybe she has RBF. I don't know.
Face.
Yeah, I don't know. She just looks like because she's got the smile kind of, but I don't know. I don't know what you do here.
Legitimately, that's just her face. I don't know. Honestly, even if they give it to Toni, I don't know where you go from that either.
Right.
To be completely honest, you know, so it's very hard. I mean, we do have the potential for somebody else to pop up once again, because obviously it seems like there's going to be somebody who's going to be in AEW for quite some time that Danielson's bringing in. So, you know, AEW loves their double debuts.
Yeah, it's usually never just one.
We could potentially get somebody else. Not sure. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell where you're going to go with the landscape in the state that it is in.
Yes. Well, as we say around here a lot, you're just going to have to wait and see, people. Sunday is not far away. Main event time. Kind of a highly anticipated match. Talked about it a little bit earlier. Moxley cut a promo. Chris Jericho and Lance Archer, who is kind of representing Suzuki-gon, because they did get involved last week, versus Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jon Moxley. Can they coexist kind of situation going into Forbidden Door? Obviously, they will be fighting for the interim title. Of note, during the entrances, Moxley flips off Sammy and Ty Conti, who came out to the ring with Jericho. Nobody seems to like Sammy and Ty right now, and I think that they're right where they need to be with Chris Jericho.
So glad Sammy can be back with his dad again. So glad that he can do that.
See, somebody who did want to be a father figure.
Lace sex gods back at it again.
Back at it again. Moxley, of course, after his entrance, him and Tanahashi kind of square off outside the ring, and they kind of mutually motion that they agree that they're going to work together to win this match. Tanahashi and Archer did end up starting it, but I'm going to be honest with you, the best thing that I saw all night was in this match, because Moxley then takes Jericho and slams him into this barricade, and there is a young child donned in yellow from head to toe, and I just see this ray of sunshine just ricochet off this fucking barricade, because it's very obvious Moxley is winding up. He takes Jericho from the fucking corner over here and walks him all the way across, and this child has their back turned to the camera, so you see him just pew.
Yo, my man's went just straight pinball style from the just bing. He's there and then he's not. Like, you just see him full send away from where he was standing, and I'm just like,
that is the inertia of two grown men.
Two grown ass old, been around the block for years, full sending into this barricade. And like you said, they literally went from one side to the other. So shame on the kid and his parent, because like, I'm bringing this guy over here. You better move. I'm going to throw him. I'm throwing him now. He has been thrown. And then so had the child, which was absolutely amazing. And, you know, but hey, here's the thing. That kid's never going to forget that moment. He's going to be like, I want to be a wrestler now.
Hey, man.
Because he just got smacked the bejesus out of by Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho in a match. I mean, it's magical. That's how it works. That's how you grow wrestling fans.
I'm crying. Finishing out the match here, we had Sammy with some interference on the outside. JR hilariously, I mean, this match was just full of just entertainment. Get you and your tongue out of here. Good old granddad.
Love
out
Grandpa
here,
JR, man.
keeping it
Love
real. Lion Salt attempt, and Tanahashi. I think Tanahashi was who got the knees up. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember.
Oh no, with the Lion Salt, that was Moxley put the
Was it
knees
Mox?
up.
See, that's why Joker's here. Don't trust me. I'm but a goblin.
Goblin, you're not a goblin, baby. You're a gremlin. There's a difference.
That's it. Gremlin. Tanahashi with the win on Lance Archer. Not surprising. Obviously, these two are about to face off for the world title. So they needed to come away with the win going into the pay-per-view. And essentially, we went off air in a very interesting way. The last visual that we see is Eddie coming down from the back to fight at ringside. Wheeler Yuta accompanies him because they're all going to be a part of a three-way match. Not three-way, I'm sorry. A trios match with Jericho, Sammy, and oh my god, Minoru Suzuki. I'm sorry. Jericho, Sammy, Minoru Suzuki versus Eddie Ortiz.
Oh, you talking about the crazy match?
Yes, it's going to be a trios match. Wheeler Yuta. I'm sorry, it wasn't Ortiz. It was Eddie, Wheeler Yuta, and
Ortiz
somebody
came
else.
down to.
Well, yes, he did. I'm talking about specifically the Forbidden Door match.
Oh, okay.
That's what this whole brawl was setting up. Was them, coming down to kind of beat up on members of Suzuki Gun. Minoru Suzuki ended up showing up. It was wild. So on the outside of the ring, you have absolute chaos. Everybody is beating the absolute shit out of each other. And in the ring, you have Tanahashi and Moxley staring each other down like this close from each other. And that's how we go off air. Like,
meanwhile, Suzuki's trying to murder poor Wheeler Yuta in the corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, everybody.
It's Jericho, Sammy, and Suzuki versus Eddie, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I would not have gotten that one. There's several New Japan people that I've kind of picked up on as far as their names are concerned.
Well, Shota's got beef with Jericho, so that's why he's there. And
gotcha.
Yeah, from like years ago. And yeah, it's a whole thing. But
yeah,
I mean, I'm excited for the match because I'm always excited to see Minoru Suzuki, especially when he's across the ring from Eddie Kingston, because Eddie Kingston is the Mad King and he deserves a championship. Please give him a championship.
His time is
World's championship, if we're being nice about it. I'm just saying he could have won the interim title, just throwing it out there. But yes, I understand why we went off the air like this. It is the go home show. You gotta have your go home show brawl.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works. But there was a lot going on.
Yes.
At one time, and again, especially if you don't know who all of these characters are, because I mean, you had Suzuki going out there with Jazz versus Kingston and Company and Blackpool Combat Club. and friends. Like it was a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then meanwhile, like you said, you got now Kiss happening in the
Not now, Kiss.
happening in the ring. So yeah, it was a whole lot, but
We made
I'm
it.
still super stupid excited for Forbidden Door. So I mean, and it got me excited for Forbidden Door because I'm like, man, I can't wait for these guys to all just beat the hell out of each other. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good show. Fun
It
show.
is. It was
a lot. Review.
Yeah.
Like number.
What do you
Rating. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
review. Yeah, we just did it.
Yeah, no, rating. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I apologize.
Hey man, look, I understand. It's almost midnight in this hoe. Rating 4 out of 5. I mean, what would that be? An 8 out of 10? Solid show, good go home show. I think that, they delivered on what they promised. They did add 4 matches to the card. Tony on Busted Open Radio talking about how on Dynamite they would be solidifying the card for Forbidden Door. So I think what we have is what we're going to get. And honestly, it's a lot because you take into account the debuts and everything that are sure to be on the horizon. A couple of interesting ones here. Mercedes, and for those who don't know, that is Sasha Banks. I know that there is a lot of speculation going on with her right now. Is she with WWE? Is she not? Will she have a non-compete clause? Will she not? I don't know. Given everything that we are seeing, as much as I think that would be amazing, I don't know if we'll see Mercedes. And I don't know if I really would want to see her just yet. I think that there's a lot that's going to go on at Forbidden Door, and I would hate for her debut to be overshadowed. And she's a star, so she knows that. I don't think she's going to come out during a time that would risk anything overshadowing her and her presence. And as it should be. Victor also kind of getting to some of these comments that we may have missed. Jungle Boy's birthday was on Monday. Happy birthday, Jungle Boy. I'm sure that's why he took the concerto, so he could go on vacation. Good for you. Love that for you, Queen. Bray Wyatt shows up at Forbidden Door. Interesting. I know it has been speculated that Bray Wyatt is going to make a return to wrestling. I don't know if that's going to be a debut for AEW. Mercedes will be the next baddie. Could you imagine? Could you even imagine it? I could. My only concern is as much like, because Jade is amazing. She has come such a long way in the short time that she has been wrestling in general. She's like grown into this amazing character. And while I think she would put up an absolute fight, unfortunately, Mercedes just has the experience as far as owning a space, especially like a wrestling space.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hate for her to join the baddies as a lackey when she by herself should have a baddie section.
And she would never.
She would never. I mean, as much as you would want to see somebody with experience putting over young talent, I don't think it will be in this way. But good thought. No, as a matter of fact, bad thought. Because if Mercedes is the next baddie, then it can't be me, Victor.
Yeah.
All right, people. On that note, it is another amazing episode of Dynamite under our belt. Victor gives it a 10 out of 10 go home show. I am inclined to agree. I might even bump it up to a 9. It was a great show. But at the end of the day, all good things must come to an end. Rampage, check it out on Friday. A lot of really great stuff, last minute matches and segments leading into Forbidden Door. Joker, you want to give the rundown?
Got Wheeler versus Jeff Cobb. Both of them are the we got Cash Wheeler, who is the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. Jeff Cobb, IWGP Tag Team Champion. They're facing off. We got Hook fighting DKC from the New Japan Dojo. Hopefully that's going to be a quick one. Very excited for that. Serena Deeb versus Mercedes Martinez. That's going to be possibly a sleeper.
Yeah.
You got two ladies who are very, 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 very seasoned in the ring. So I can only imagine what kind of amazing match they're going to put on together. And the match I am most excited for, you got Rey Fenix versus Andrade Idolo. Oh my goodness. I think they fought once before here in AEW so far, but oh my God, I can't wait. We got a little bit of it during the Battle Royal last week, or the week before, whichever one that was. But yeah, Rampage, check it out, 10 o'clock Friday. Enjoy
At this
wrestling.
point, it's almost tomorrow.
Yeah, so then it would be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Once it's tomorrow today.
Indeed. Don't mind us.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Ramblings of tired people. See ya.
Right.